Okay, so let's get started with our call today. So if you're new to this call, I mean, first of all, Super Saturdays, we have them every Saturday. We start off with our launch calls, which are for new members. Noor hosted the one earlier, and every week we always plug our new members into this just because we run down more in depth in terms of like our system, the champion culture, what we have to offer, the website. Everything is outlined in detail, and you get to also experience the energy that we have. So very, very important for every new champion to plug into these launch calls. And hey, even if you're not new, you should be plugging in, because then you get to see, you know, how these launch calls are done, and you get to learn something from every presenter that's doing them. So that being said, builders is one of the most important calls of the week. Every week we have different leaders sharing value. Recently we had Robin, we had Joy, and you'll be learning from different people, different skill sets, things that are very, very important to building your business, to the marketing. And even if you're new, don't get overwhelmed, because we were all in your shoes once. Like, we were all there, and because of these trainings and this community is why many of us got to where we are. So it doesn't matter if you started today, this morning, yesterday, 2 weeks ago. We're all on the same page here in terms of our focus is to win, and the champion culture is, in my opinion, the best one. So let's get started with this. Let me take off gallery view just so I can see myself better here. Okay, what's up, Hiba? Nice to see you back home finally. And shout out to Noor for being on the call earlier. It's great to see champions representing with GC calls, and I cannot wait to see more of you there sharing your value. I know some of you love speaking, but you're a little shy, so we'll make sure you're there so you can also host calls for GC. Okay. All right, so now that we are all here, awesome. I like to see the numbers that went that they went up. So like I mentioned earlier, it's June 4th today. And I want to start this call with really having you all think of something right now. I want you all to really think, what were your goals in January? Like your goals January 1st, or even December. Let's say December came along and you're thinking, okay, the new year is coming. It's going to be 2022. What goals did you set for yourself January 1st? Like, what did you tell yourself? What did you write down? And really think about where those goals are right now. How many of you did you accomplish? How many of them did you accomplish? How many of them did you not accomplish? How many of them are you maybe close to accomplishing? Like, really think about it. Because every year, without a doubt, all of us, we all think, okay, even if we say, oh no, the new year starts in November and December, January is really when we put in the action. Some of us start before that, November, December, we start the new year there, but really think about January 1st. Where was your mind at? Now, the reason I'm asking this is because a lot of us treat the new year like that's the date. January 1st is the date where we have to make changes, where we have to make promises to ourselves. But what if, let me just throw this at you. What if you treated every week, the beginning of every week, like a new year? Like, what if you treated for people, Monday is the new week. For us, it's Friday. However you want to treat it. But if the start of every week, what if you treated that like it was January 1st? A lot of us have these big goals, big actions that we want to do for the beginning of the year. And we decide, okay, I'm going to be this person. I'm going to have or build this habit. I'm going to start this routine. I'm going to start talking to these people. But what if this is something you decided every week? Let's say Thursday, okay? Like Thursday's the end of the commission week. Friday Friday morning, however, whether you want to do it Thursday night or Friday morning, what if that's your January 1st? So we all know we have Florida coming up, okay? Florida is literally less than a month away. And then we have, the qualifying trip to Vegas in September. But we have big goals. Like, who has big goals for Florida? Drop it in the chat if you have big goals. Drop yes if you have big goals for Florida in the chat. Yeah. A lot of us. Many of you are going to Florida and you want to show up with a certain rank, a certain, whatever your goal is, you want to show up there with that. Maybe you want to qualify for the trip in September. It's possible. Even if you think you're so far from it, it's definitely possible. So one thing I will say is, speaking of events, when those of us that went to Vegas, like we went to Vegas, it was an amazing experience because we got to meet, well, me personally, and all of you that were there, we got to meet people from the team that we just knew online. We didn't really interact with them offline, unless of course you're from the same place, you've met up before. But we got to interact with each other, learn from each other, share our knowledge. I know myself and Christian, like we had that, for those of you that were there, we had that meeting, I think it was the first or second day. Like, it's so much different having in-person meetings or masterminds with your leaders or your team versus online. Like, online is cool, but in person, it just hits so much different. And those of you that were in Toronto and you were with us at the Toronto event, and when we went to the hotel, and it's different. And you get to actually really see the person's facial expressions, their hand gestures, their body language, their tonality, right? Versus online. Sometimes online, maybe you can't hear them properly, the connection's a bit weird. So, but in person, things hit so much different. Now, why do I share this? So it relates to what I'm going to talk about today, because whether you were in Vegas, you met people on the team, you met your leaders, it's like, what are you doing in that moment? They're your team, they're your leaders. Those of you that, we created content together in Vegas and then Toronto, those of you that were here. What's that name? What do you call it when you work with others? I want to see if you can guess the topic for today. What do you call when you work with other people? What is the name? What do you call that? Collaboration. Teamwork, yeah, but what is collaboration? Daniel and Allison got it right. Yes, collaboration. None of your answers are wrong, by the way, in terms of like support, teamwork. But collaboration is the word I'm looking for. So thanks to those that dropped it. And the reason why I want to talk about collaboration today is because it's super important to your business. We're in a team environment, and the key to really growing to the next level, if you want to build that multi-million-dollar business, you want to have that freedom, that independence, collaboration is a part of it. And it's something that I learned and I applied. Because yes, we have our own goals, but at the same time, we're in a people business. We have a team. We're mentors, we're leaders. Some of you are upcoming and rising leaders. And so there's always someone you're working with. It's not just you alone. And if you are doing it alone, you still might get results, but you won't go far. And that's the reality of it. So collaboration. So how you collaborate increases your mind, increases your productivity, and increases your income. But how do you do this? And I'm going to break it down into 4 parts of how you can collaborate, because I can just sit here and say, okay, to collaborate, you just need to work with your team. You just need to work with your mentor, and then the training's done. But how useful is that? Not useful at all, would you say? So I want to break it down to 4 steps of collaboration, like 4 things you need to keep in mind to collaborate properly to get the results that you're after. And that's why I said, like, make sure your team is on this, because some of this may be, you might think, oh, it's common sense, just work with others, but there's levels to it. There's levels to collaboration. And unless you master these levels, you may think you're working with people, but you're not. And it ties back to something I actually learned from Stormy recently. The ABCs of building your business. So she always says, it's time to align accurately, it's time to believe boldly, and it's time to collaborate correctly. And when I heard that, collaborate correctly, so the ABCs is align accurately, the B is believe boldly, and the C is collaborate correctively. Now, I'm sure we can go into like how to align accurately, how to believe boldly, but I really want to talk about the collaborative part. Collaborate correctly. And that's what she calls the ABCs of building a business. If you don't know who Stormy Wellington is, she is a multi-millionaire, and she is one of my biggest role models. And I'm always watching her stuff, always learning from her, and always being a student, right? And I love what she has to share, because she has the success that I want to have. And so one thing before I get into the training is, don't be afraid to have virtual mentors, people that don't even know you exist, or people that may not know you're even watching them, or people that may not even know that you're looking at their videos. You might have someone like a Stormy Wellington that you look up to, and you might watch their stuff, or maybe someone like another giant in the network marketing company, or maybe even in a different industry, but someone that you look up to, that you consider your online mentor or your virtual mentor. That's the key. But the first point of collaborating is with your company. Learn to collaborate with your company. Now, what does this mean? This is not a job, number one. So I've seen some people call this a job. This is not a job. This is a business. Okay. And you need to really accept and learn to accept that you're collaborating with this company. You're collaborating with iGenius. You're not just a member. You don't work for them. You're collaborating with them. You chose to collaborate with iGenius. You chose to partner with iGenius because iGenius has what you need and what you want. You don't work for them. You collaborate and you're partnered with them. So how do you use iGenius to your advantage? Because think of it like this. What does collaborating mean? I want to ask you all this right now in the chat. Like, what does real collaboration mean? Like, think of people like celebrities when they collaborate, or brands when they collaborate with it. Like, what is it really? And I want to really see the chat here. Hold on, I just closed it. Working together with someone else to further your business, helping each other, putting together ideas, making something together. Two brains together. Okay. Yes. So all those are good answers. How can you incorporate that to the business? How can you show, because again, it's not just saying, hey, I'm with iGenius and I make money here, or I'm learning to make money. Like, how do you properly use this company and collaborate with them to benefit you and your business and your team? How do you do that? So this is where you really have to think of what iGenius has to offer. And think of what, like, I'll give you, I'll give you the example of, let's say, influencers when they collaborate with brands. Let's say MAC Cosmetics, and I'm just gonna use MAC Cosmetics because everyone knows who MAC is, hopefully. But if MAC were to reach out to Allison and says, hey, Allison, we wanna collaborate with you. This is what we offer. These are the products that you'll get access to. These are the benefits of the products. People that have these problems will use these products to get these results. And you know, our collaboration is going to be you like really like showing what we have, the value of these products. And we'll give you everything. You don't need to worry about, you know, marketing ideas. We'll give you the ideas. You just need to execute it and show how much you love it and stuff. So let's just say, okay. And you see a lot of these influencers, Allison, let's say, goes on her Instagram and she shows herself using the product regularly. She talks about the benefits. Let's say one of her friends is using it and then she'll show it. Her friend will tag her. Maybe there's a MAC event, right? And she shows she's going to that event, the excitement, the amount of people there, how many lives have been changed, the whatever. Like you see that work, that partnership, like the collaboration is there. And that's what these companies look for. They look for this level of collaboration and they pay high bucks, like they pay a lot of money if the influencer does what they're looking for when it comes to collaboration. So how can you collaborate with iGenius then? Like really think about it. And I really like, sorry, I clearly need some water. Okay. Like really think about how you can collaborate with iGenius. We have products that you use. We have the education, the Hunger Games stuff that's happening is awesome. We have our campaigns, the Forex, the crypto, the binary and the NFTs that we had, the social media campaigns coming up. So how can you use this to your advantage to show that you're collaborating? Because the thing is, if you actually show like you're collaborating with the company and that you're partnered with the company, guess what? It comes off less salesy. But if you keep promoting on your stories, on your like everywhere that, hey, like, you know, this company changed my life, join my team, 5 spots available, and, you know, get on a call with me and my mentor. That's not really collaborating. So collaborating is you showing up, you showing what you're using, talking about the benefits, not so much being salesy. So like, I really challenge all of you to study how people collaborate. If you have, maybe there's an athlete that's collaborating with Adidas or like whatever, like really analyze how they do these collabs. Like really analyze, even celebrity musicians. If you see artists collaborating, guess what they do? Let's say Drake collaborates with Eminem and they make a song together. You don't just see them making the song and, oh, cool, the track's released and that's it. No, you'll see them together at events, maybe doing interviews together, maybe a podcast together, videos together, whatever else leading up to that, and even a bit after and during. So it shows that they're actually working together, they feed off each other. It's not just, okay, this is the song and that's it. So really start using iGenius to your advantage in terms of treating it like a business and like a collaboration between you and iGenius. Because you have a company here that has everything you need. And once you start really thinking about it that way, you'll see how your business just skyrockets to the next level. And it'll also help build you a sense of credibility. Because you got to also see yourself as a businesswoman and a businessman. Because if you start treating yourself as that, then endless other opportunities are going to come about. I've seen so many people get into network marketing and so many opportunities come out of it. Stormy Wellington, as an example, she's like a fitness, she's in a fitness company, like a wellness fitness, that's what she does. But she now has her own makeup line or lip gloss line or something like that. And she has her own activewear line. So imagine that. Network marketing for some people is the foundation to other things. So once you collaborate effectively, use the products, show them off, talk about them. Because guess what? If you're not talking about them, how do you expect people to become interested? And if there's no interest, you're not helping to change lives, and people aren't signing up for the products. So what happens to your income? And that's the thing, you want to collaborate the right way, because when you share value, that's when you get value people. It's so easy to go out there and break compliance, as an example, which you don't want to do. But let's say you're talking out there like, yeah, I became a millionaire in 2 months, or I became a 6-figure earner in 3 months, or I make 6 figures, or I make 2,000 a week, or I do this, or, whatever. If you're setting these false expectations, yes, you might get a lot of people signing up, but how many of these people are actually value people? How many of these people will actually like have the right mindset? Because it's easy to sign people up with false expectations. The tough part is signing people up with the value that you're providing. But if you really shift your focus to using iGenius as your collaborative effort, then it'll become so much easier. Number two is your team. You want to collaborate with your team. So I remember Christian mentioned this. I don't remember if it was on the Plaid exec call, which, by the way, if you're not in that chat, you definitely want to be in there. Like about big things in Toronto. Okay, we're always talking about big things in Toronto. We meet up with the team. We just met up with Joy, Megan, and Daniel yesterday. But things like that. Collaborate with your team. That's very, very key. If you have a team in your city, even if you're an hour away, you can drive, meet up, even if it's just once a month, where you meet up with people from the team. Just that culture you're going to create, you're collaborating with each other. And guess what? You're feeding off each other's energy. Because a lot of people think business is lonely. A lot of people think being successful, being a millionaire, being financially free, independent, it's a lonely thing, but it's not here. And that's why I'm so in love with this profession, because it's not lonely at the top. You bring people to the top with you. So how can you collaborate with your team? Well, create events together. Do weekly or monthly events together. Have culture nights. If there's people in your city, in your town, in your province, wherever you're from, culture nights. Even if it's just you and, let's say, maybe it's just you and the guys. The girls won't get offended. But you want to start building that culture. Or if it's just the girls, the guys won't get offended. But create a culture with your team. Go for brunch. I know that's something that we're doing here in Toronto. The girls here in Toronto, once a month, we're meeting up for a brunch. That creates culture. Things like that. So simple. Collaborate with each other. Because then people see that on the outside, and guess what? They want to be a part of that. And that's why collaboration is key. Because then it shows people that, okay, this girl or this guy, they're talking about helping other people and being on a team and having access to this and that. But when you show it and you do it, then they see it. It's more believable versus you always showing up on your own in your stories. If you're always showing up by yourself, you're never around other people on your team, then it's harder to deliver that message. Now I get it. Maybe there's no one, and like maybe where you're from, there's nobody from the team. But maybe you can do like your own little, like, I don't know, online culture, something, like there's always things you can do. So just because you don't have anyone in your city, in your town, doesn't mean you can't do something online. And of course, collaborating with your team also means going on lives together. That's another way. So shout out to all of you that have been going on live together. That's collaborating. You want to go on lives together, create videos together. All that is key. It creates impact, it grows your influence, and it increases loyalty. Because guess what? The more you're involved with people on your team, the more they see you, the more that they see you actually care about them and you actually want to talk to them, that builds your influence and it builds your relationship. So as an example, when we went to Vegas, Vegas, like the collaborative effort of the team, I see Megan shooting a video of Victoria helping Daisy, and Santosh helping his team, and Edwin helping whoever else. That was a real collaborative effort. And guess what? Relationships grow stronger, influence grows higher. Now, number 3 is collaborating with your mentors. So what does collaborating with your mentors mean? First of all, I want to see, why do you have a mentor? I'll drop it in the chat. What's a mentor to, like, why do you have a mentor? Like, what's the importance of having a mentor? Why do you even have one? I want to see some answers. To guide you on your journey, become successful, guideline, help where it's needed, help you grow, help you make less mistakes. Exactly. Yeah, so all of these are right. There's no wrong answers here. All of them are good. So, like, really think about those of you, all of you have a mentor. Now, of course, mentors are important, but we've heard it before where a mentor shouldn't be the only reason you're successful. Because let's say your mentor leaves, that shouldn't be a reason for you to just quit on your dreams. If all of you have a solid dream, solid goal, whether your mentor is here or not, you should still be working towards it. Right? So a mentor does give you like a cheat code to success, because your mentors have been through it all. Now, maybe your mentor is new. Maybe your mentor has only been doing this for a month and you just started. It doesn't mean they can't help you, and it doesn't mean they're less valuable, because they have access to other mentors that have been doing it longer. And even if their mentor is new, they have access to other mentors. So you still have access to mentors around you and coaches. Now, of course, a mentor creates leaders, and that's like, some of you maybe have the goal to be a leader. Like, you want to be a leader, you want to help other people. Maybe you're not sure, maybe you're just, it's okay. But the thing is, you need a mentor to show you the way. That's just the reality of it. A mentor, a coach, whatever you want to call it. Mentors are there to show you the way. And not just in business, but you see it in jobs too. Even in school, there's a lot of students that have their professors as mentors. In jobs, there's people that have, maybe you come across a good manager, a good boss that you have at work, and maybe they mentor you on how to reach whatever position you want. But in business here, we have mentors literally paving the way for us that make things easier. So mentors help ground you. They give you the cheat code. And a lot of times they give you things that they were not given. So things they wish they heard, or things they wish that they were taught, or whatever the case is, they give it to you. So how do you collaborate with a mentor? Because it's not just, oh, get on a call and that's it. Call once a week. That's not really collaborating with a mentor. That's working with a mentor. But you don't want to just work with a mentor. You want to collaborate with a mentor. So how do you do that? Well, again, mentors give you ideas. So collaborating with ideas, trainings, events, campaigns, all of that. But one thing you need to realize is collaborating with them, it doesn't matter what rank you are. You could literally start yesterday, or you could be here for 2 years. The collaborative effort is still the same. Because think of it like this, okay? You might be just an influencer, or you might be, maybe you just started 2 weeks ago. You might think to yourself, oh no, I don't want to bother my mentor. They're busy with their leaders or their team or this event or that event. No, collaborating is communicating with them and letting them know you're here to work with them, to collaborate with them. You're here to be their next star, to be their next leader. Even if you started this morning, it doesn't matter. Collaborating with your mentor means messaging, means getting on calls, not just once a week, but frequently, showing them that you actually want their help, or you want their guidance, or you want to work with them, you want to collaborate with them. Because every mentor, all the, like the mentors you have, they want to see that. And I remember once I was like, okay, I could do this on my own. Like, I don't want to bother. I don't want to bother this person. I'll just figure it out myself. You know, that's how I always thought. Or sometimes you may think to yourself, okay, let me show him or her that I can do it myself, so I can impress him or her, right? But then at the end of the day, it's like, why would you put yourself in a position where maybe you might make a mistake, or maybe you might miss out on something just because you didn't ask them? Now, I get it. Every mistake is a learning experience. To me, there's no such thing as failure or mistakes. It's just a learning experience. So collaborating is communicating. Collaborating is showing that you want to grow with them. And collaborating is sharing ideas for trainings, events, campaigns. If you have an idea, share it with your mentor or your coach. Maybe you're on a call with them and they're sharing something with you. Like, share your idea and maybe you can mix it together. Like, for example, like me and Hiba will get on calls and like we'll like brainstorm things, or I'll like come up with something and I'll tell her, what do you think? Like, what ideas do you have? Or what do you think of this? Like, we will brainstorm something for, let's say, an event or a campaign, and then we'll like break it down and kind of step by step, like things like that. Now, you shouldn't be scared just because you're talking to your mentor or your leader. You shouldn't be scared to share your own ideas. You shouldn't be scared to maybe even say, oh, I don't think that's a good idea. Because it's all about finding solutions to things. Okay. And there's nothing wrong with speaking out, because if anything, as a mentor and as a coach, we want to see our leaders or our upcoming leaders have a voice. We want them to have a voice, not be complacent and not just be agree, okay, yes, 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 yes. No, because then you will never grow. And if you feel like you can't do that, then maybe, have a conversation. But the thing is with mentors and coaches, when you collaborate with them, you want to be present. And I've seen it before where it's like, just because you're a presidential ambassador, let's just say, or a diamond ambassador, it doesn't mean you have to stop collaborating with your mentor or coach. You still need to show them that you're here to work with them. You still need to message them, or you still need to ask for their opinions. Just how, like, you always have to be in that student mindset. For example, and I've also seen the other way around, where I've seen diamond ambassadors or presidential ambassadors, they're still going to their mentor and saying, hey, like, what do you think of this, or this is going on, or that's true collaboration. That's true collaboration. Because this isn't a job where you're just showing up and it's like to your boss, hey, I'm here, hi, I'm present in the chat, good morning, cool, and then you go about your day, and then it's like, okay, bye, I'm clocking out, have a nice day, see you tomorrow. That's not how it works. That's a job routine, that's a job mindset. But to grow a business and to actually grow it properly and level up with everyone in your team, and to really be an example for everyone else, you need to show that collaborative effort with your mentor and your coach. So a lot of us are stuck in that job mindset. But here it's like, think of your mentor and your coach as your business partner. And you need to communicate. You need to share ideas. You need to exchange ideas. That's true collaboration. Now, the fourth and final one is collaborating with yourself. So some of you are probably thinking, what? How do I collaborate with myself? There's only one of me. It's not two. It's just one person. It's just one Heba, one Izza. It's just one Victoria, one Zeke, one Naomi. How do I collaborate with myself? That's what you're probably thinking. Well, I'll break it down for you. Before I do that, okay. So what does collaborating with yourself mean? Because collaborating with others, everything I shared, collaborating with the company, which is iGenius, collaborating with your team, collaborating with your mentor, now collaborating with yourself. What does this mean really? So all of you were someone before you came into this company, right? And you have a certain personality type, you have a certain way of being. And of course, when it comes to business, and they even say it in the workplace, separate your personal life from the workplace. If, let's say, something happened at home and then you have a shift at work, you're not going to go to work yelling at your coworker just because you had a bad day at home. So it's like, it's two separate things. Now, what I mean by collaborating with yourself is because you have you outside of the business and you inside of the business. Because some of you react a certain way when you're with your friends, and then you're a certain way with your team. It doesn't mean you're it's not like double personalities, but it just means you're two separate people, and that's normal and that's fine. Because at the same time, with your team, as much as you care about them, as much as you love them, as much as you want to see them succeed, there's certain lines you can't cross with your team in terms of how you behave with them, or As an example, and I will say this just so you can see the example. Let's say you're someone that, you go out with your friends, you have a good time, you're drinking, you're partying, you're dancing around. Okay, that's you with your friends, sure. But let's say you're at a business event with your team and you have a business outing. Are you gonna be acting all crazy, drinking, acting certain ways while your team is there watching you? No. It doesn't mean you can't be yourself, but there's still certain standards you need to have, right? And this ties into learning to keep your business separate from your personal life. Like really keep your business separate from your personal life and learn to separate your emotions from your business. And that's what I mean by collaborating with yourself, like learning to collaborate with yourself. Really get to know who you are as a person. Are you emotional? Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you energetic? Like really dig deep and find out who you are as a person and learn to collaborate with yourself. And by that, I mean is, how can I put it? So as an example, let's say, like this ties into like your goal setting and your affirmations, even with the business when it comes to collaborating with yourself. But really learning to separate emotions from the business, in my opinion, and from what I've learned from things that I've heard and seen, is super important. Separating your emotions, separating who you are. If let's say, as an example, who can I mention here? Let's say Alex. Okay, let's say Alex is a super emotional person, as an example. Okay, let's say he's super emotional with friends, with family. That's who Alex is. I don't know how many of you believe in horoscopes and rising and moon and all these things. I'm not I'm not too familiar with that. And you believe like, okay, you have this trait and that trait, and that's why you're emotional, that's why you're this, that's why you're that. Okay, cool. You have all these things. But if he's emotional, let's say, like naturally that's who he is, he can't be emotional in the business, number one, because that can, reacting with emotion sometimes, most of the time, leads to unproductive decisions. So that's where you need to learn to collaborate with your emotional self. So you need to discover that the controlled Alex. So Alex needs to figure out, okay, Alex is emotional, but he's also strong. Alex is strong. He has a strong personality, but he's also emotional. He's excited, but he's also emotional. He's charismatic, but he's also emotional. So how can emotional Alex collaborate with energetic Alex or confident Alex? That's where you really, it's like collaborating your personalities, I guess. Learning to collaborate with yourself. Because once you master that, then you'll know, okay, emotional Alex, chill out. It's not time for you. You need to keep your distance. It's time for logical Alex or strategic Alex or confident Alex. Like it's time for him. But you need to first accept these traits about yourself. Because if you don't accept these traits about yourself, then how can you collaborate with yourself? Because if you're not aware, that's where you have to bring up the self-awareness of it. So collaborating with yourself goes beyond just, okay, let me try not to be emotional and that's it. No, it's like really breaking down who you are as a person and knowing when is the best time to bring out this person. Maybe your team is having a conflict. Hey, It's not time for emotional Naomi right now. I need to bring like strong boss, Hefa Naomi right now. Like this is the Naomi that needs to be present. So emotional Naomi, see you later. I'll get back to you later with my bowl of ice cream in my bed. But right now, it's the strong one that needs to show up. But you can't do that unless you're aware. So that's why I'm saying like really, really dig deep, because a lot of you have shared before certain traits that are holding you back in the business. These traits are holding you back. Maybe you're doubtful. Maybe you say you self-sabotage yourself. Maybe you're emotional, or you're not organized, or maybe whatever the case is. That's who you are. It's not necessarily bad, but you need to also discover the strong things about you and learn to collaborate with yourself in that sense. Because if there's a moment where naturally you want to self-sabotage yourself, it's like, okay, I know I self-sabotage myself. This is a part of who I am for whatever reason. And a lot of times these things we are built from, let's say, maybe life experience or our childhood or whatever. There's nothing wrong with being who you are as a person, but you need to discover the strong points about yourself. And that's where you need to collaborate with yourself. So if you have a self-sabotaging mindset where it's like, it's easy for you to do that, I'm sure you have a strong part of yourself. Many of you I've interacted with in person and on one-on-one, or I've seen you host a training or a call, and I'm like, this person has good qualities. They're a powerful speaker, or they have a good mindset, or whatever the case is. So as an example, I want to shout out Zeke right now, because like we had a meetup in Toronto, and we all shared like our vision for ourselves, and his was really powerful. It was really powerful, and he has a big goal and he has a big vision, and many there had big visions, and it was really interesting to hear about it. We also shared what's holding us back, and hearing everyone's, it's like, okay, yeah, it's something we're working on. But at the same time, this is something that I mentioned before, where it's like a lot of times we focus so much on what we need to improve that we lose focus on what we're naturally good at. So if you feel like you're self-sabotaging yourself very often, okay, fine. That's something you can work up, but don't focus on just working on that. What are you good at? What's your strength? Use that strength and tell your self-sabotaging self to just hold on a minute. It's not like you'll meet with that that self after to train it to tone down a little. But right now you're gonna be focused on the empowered Naomi, or the empowered Zeke, or the empowered Noor, or the empowered Alina or Fatima. That's true collaboration with yourself. So I mean, there's so much more I can say, but I just really want you all to really focus on those 4 points: collaborating with the business, like properly collaborating with the business, collaborating with your team, collaborating with your mentor, and collaborating with yourself. So that being said, before I go over time, I'm gonna wrap it up there. Those are key 4 points to collaboration. And really, really practice them. And I hope you took notes. I really hope you took notes, because they're very important. Because yeah, there's the social media side, there's the branding side, there's, networking and all those key things to building a successful business. But even, Hiba, when she was talking about building your foundation in the business, all the social media stuff, all of that stuff is cool. But you really need to think about what what's gonna make all of that strong. And these things help build your foundation. Now, she covered some amazing things when she did the platinum training, which again, you want to be on these calls. But it's all about building your foundation and collaborating with your team, collaborating with your company, collaborating with yourself. Collaborating with yourself is the most important thing that you need to do before you even learn to collaborate with your team, your mentor, and the company. Because once you master collaborating with yourself, there's nobody out there that can stop you. Absolutely nobody. So that being said, that's a wrap on the builders call, but I do want to celebrate some rank ups, okay? Because we were supposed to do that 2 Saturdays ago. We were supposed to do that. But I want to do it on this call. And I know we have a few. Okay, so let me get the flyers ready because we have a few. And if there's one that you want to do on today's call, then let's do it. If I don't show it, but here, let me bring it up. Let's see. We have, let me get this. Which, by the way, we have a new influencer in Champions. Yesterday, we popped a new influencer. I don't see these flyers. Okay. Hold on a sec. Okay, so I want to bring up Ottilia. Ottilia's here. Who's your rank up? Where's the flyer? Let me see it here. Because I know we have Alina. Let me send it. We have Alina, we have, who else? Is Winona on this call? No. Okay, so we don't have a few of them on here. So I don't want to celebrate them and they're not here. Okay. So how about this? We'll just do them next call then. Because I want to make sure they're all here. And I know there's a few flyers that haven't been ready, that aren't ready yet. But yeah, they'll be posted either way in the Champions channel. But let's drop some energy for the rank ups. All of you are seeing this momentum, right? You're seeing all these rank ups, all the momentum happening in GC and in Champions. And I know there's going to be some big ones really soon. Okay. All right. So we'll just wrap it up there. Thanks for hopping on the builders. Again, these happen every single Saturday. The launch call is 1 p.m. Eastern time, and then the builders call 3 p.m. Eastern time. So you definitely don't want to miss this. Like, you don't want to miss it. And I'm telling you, like I said earlier, if you really care about your team, like you really want them to be successful, you want to make sure they're plugged into these calls. All right. So that's a wrap. Have an amazing Saturday. Let's continue our challenges for the Hunger Games, and let's get collaborating. All right. Bye.